like school, so did you cut school? Did you just basically start?
Yeah, I cut school quite a bit.
Yeah. Tell me how you met Tony Spilotro.
We were shining shoes. He was on one side of the street, I was on the other. And I didn't know him, he didn't know me. And he looked over at me from across the street. It was on Grand Avenue. It's a main street that runs through Chicago. And he says to me, get off the street. And I told him to go screw himself in so many words. So he came running across the street, and we met in the middle. And at that time, there were streetcars, so there were tracks.
Yeah.
So we met in the middle of the street, and there wasn't much traffic either. And we started hollering at each other. And actually, we both grabbed each other by the collars, shook each other a little bit. And then he told me if I was here tomorrow, that he would break my head. And I told him, I don't see any signs over here with your name on them. I'll be back tomorrow. So and then he asked me my name, and I told him. And he told me his name. And the next time I seen him was probably about a week later.
How old were you approximately at this time?
Geez, I don't know. Probably about 14.
Okay, so were you both about the same age?
Yeah, I think he was like 8 months older than me or something.
Okay. Now, the next time you met, at least what I read, was that he found out from his father you were somebody special, and you found out he was kind of special, or how did that come out? I mean, you guys talked about that, didn't you?
Yeah, his father had a Italian restaurant around the neighborhood. We called it the Patch. It was Grand and Ogden. Mm-hmm. And his father owned this little Italian restaurant where all the wise guys used to go. So my father and him he liked my father liked him. So Tony went home and he told his father he was having problems with this kid, and so on. And he named my name to his father, and his father says, find out if his father's name is Joe. He says, because if it's Joe, he says that he did me a great favor. He says, so find out. And at that time, I didn't know what my father had done. And Tony seen me a week later and told me that his father said that he should get along with me because my father did him a great justice. He didn't know exactly what it was at that time because we were such kids. They weren't going to come back and tell me,
right.
So we became friends.
So what exactly did your father do for his father?
Well, the black hand, as I mentioned earlier, were muscling him, and they were slapping him around a little bit. He was a family man, a lot of kids.
Right.
So he told my father these greaseballs are coming in there and arming him. So my father said, what days do they come in? And he told him, he said, well, the next time they're here, I'll be in the back room with a couple of guys. So they came in to collect their money. He come out and they shot him.
He shot them?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, well, he did do him quite a big favor then. Yeah, so I see the connection. Did you know at a young age that you were headed for a life of crime? Or is that something that just kind of happened around you?
I never really thought about I was heading for a life of crime. I just thought it was the thing that I was doing was a normal thing.
Yeah, it was with the neighborhood. Everybody was doing it.
Yeah, it would have been odd to do anything other.
Right, so a victim of your surroundings, so to speak.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, you and Tony, I believe, wound up in a special school because you couldn't get along or you had trouble with regular school. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it was a vocational school because previous to that I had problems in another school where I hung the principal out of the window by his ankles. So, because he was an abusive principal.
Oh, okay.
So a couple other us guys, we threw a blanket over his head and hung him out the window. Anyway, I got the finger on it, and they sent me to the school, which was called Montefiore, and it was in a black neighborhood.
That's in Chicago, right?
Yeah, it's around Maxwell Street. Real bad neighborhood.
Yeah.
And all blacks, 95% blacks in the school. And if you were white, you had no chance. So at the time, I didn't know Tony was just sent there, Tony.
Right.
So we met there, and we started going back and forth to school, and we used to steal cars to get there because it was a long ride on the streetcar.
Well, yeah, from Grand and Ogden to Maxwell Street.
Well, no, we were we weren't living in Grand and Ogden. We were living on the west side.
Oh.
So we had to take the streetcar all the way down.
That's a long ride, yeah.
So sometimes we'd hang on the back of it, get thrown off. And then I told Tony, I said, I'll show you we steal some cars there. and we'll keep the car. You know, in them days, you could drive a car a month, you know.
Nobody catch it.
No, they didn't have no kind of communication, the place.
Right.
So we used to go back and forth with the stolen car.
And you wouldn't drive this car to school, though. You'd leave it somewhere.
We'd
wouldn't
leave it
you?
a couple blocks away.
Right, so nobody would
What do you
see
think,
you.
we pull up in front of the school?
Well, I don't know.